Good evening, everybody. Welcome to number 30.
3-0.
Number 30. We're getting old around here. Thanks for joining us. We've had a lot of fun doing these. If you missed us yesterday, we kind of foreshadowed the announcement for the Quarantine Cafe. Despite what our elected officials may have you think, we're going to stay indoors and we're going to keep doing this. So, in that order, we got a few things to do today, actually. We did 2 yesterday with the hash browns and the patty melt. We actually have kind of 3 things we're going to do today, so this is not curbing ambition. So one of the first things that we're going to do, actually the first thing we're going to do, is we're going to make biscuits.
Biscuits.
Yeah, biscuits.
Yum.
What? And I'm not wearing one of my biscuit shirts either.
I know, you've got like 100 of them.
Is that too cheesy though? Is that like going to the concert and wearing the band you're going to see, whereas like the cool move is to wear the shirt of another band?
I think it's like you just are a fan of biscuits.
I am a fan of biscuits. Biscuits are amazing. So this is not biscuit dogma. I've got a few tricks that I've learned along the way, or just hints that help me make good biscuits. There are a million different recipes for them. So I'm by no means going to say is this the best, but I will say that this is one of, if not my favorite. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. So what I have here is self-rising flour and 2 cups of it. More importantly than self-rising flour is White Lily self-rising flour. There are a few instances where I'm very partial to brands, and White Lily is one of them. This will answer the question, why can't I get a good biscuit up north? And here's why. White Lily is more prevalently found in the South. It is made from soft winter wheat, which yields a much more tender crumb and is less susceptible to, unless you really make it so, overworking. So less gluten.
So secret in the flour.
Secret in the flour. So I'm actually going to do this. You could do this in a bowl. I'm going to kind of explain why I'm going to do this in the bowl. Start it in the bowl of a food processor. Again, this is just me. Don't let the food police or the biscuit police come after me.
Your dad and mom are in the house.
Good,
They
good.
thought you might be bowling today. I'm like, nope, that's not till Friday.
No.
We can't bowl till Friday.
God. I don't even know when I'm going to go bowling. That probably, it'll be a while.
Okay, Lisa Mullen says it's against the rules, but biscuit shirts are appropriate anytime for a Mississippian.
Amen, Lisa. I appreciate it. Fun fact, another component item that has soft winter wheat, Maker's Mark.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, learning the tour. So this is kosher salt. All the good biscuits that I've had almost lean a little salty. That's why there's such the good contrast if you do the biscuit with honey or biscuit with jam or jelly or anything like that. So that's good. I've also liked to oomph the leavening, even though that is self-rising flour. I have found that just a little bit extra baking soda helps with me. So that was 2 teaspoons on the salt. This is 1. I'm going to kind of level off my teaspoon here. 1 of baking soda. Get these out of the way.
And for those of you just joining, we're making biscuits. Everybody has an opinion.
Fun fact. Baking soda is incredibly difficult to find where my parents live in Ecuador.
Do not try to bring it in.
No, you can only find it in little, like, teaspoon size amounts, because that's a cocaine producing country. So
Fun fact.
So I'm just going to pulse this and kind of bring it together. You can even spin it around right now. What we're not going to do is hit the kind of the puree function once the fat goes in, which is now. Because what happens when you emulsify fat into things, it's going to make it tough and dense, and we want light and tender.
We do not want tough and dense biscuits.
No. Much like the citizenry, we do not want tough and dense. So I've got butter. This is one of the keys to this is very, very cold.
Okay, is it salted or unsalted, or does it matter?
In this case, it doesn't matter. This would be one of those few instances. Normally, I would say, unsalted only. I'm kind of okay with salted butter, especially in baking. This would be a really good chance if you are a fan, or you can find the fancy schmancy Plugra or European butter that has a higher fat content. It'll really make a difference in a good biscuit here.
Like that French butter.
That's right.
French butter's good.
It's almost like cheese. And so this is cream cheese. This is an equal quantity to the butter, 4 ounces of each, by weight. So here's where the pulsing comes in. What we're looking to do is we're looking for this to kind of look like, the term is coarse crumbs. I like to stop before it even gets to that, because a few bigger chunks of fat that are in this is going to mean more of a lift. So This is before we add our liquid to it. So
Pulse.
Pulse.
Oons. It's a club in
Your
here.
commentary is awesome.
Well, it's because I'm off work for the day.
Here you go.
I haven't even started drinking.
That's why we're filming these a little more towards dinner. So I'm gonna do this just a couple more times.
Dance party with the biscuits.
Wasn't that one of our rules? Was no oons oons?
I
No.
don't know. That's not a rule.
No, we just make fun of it. So I've got a mixing bowl here. Yeah, this is good because I can feel that some of the flour is incorporated into it, but I'm still seeing some big pieces of fat. You could use pastry cutters if you wanted to. You could use a fork. You could use your hand. I don't know about you guys. I can just speak for myself. My hands tend to run really hot, and I don't want to melt or soften that fat that's in there.
That's right, because you made a whole point of it being cold butter.
Right, and so if I put a lot of work into it, then I have ruined that. So this is buttermilk.
Which, by the way, was running in short supply when we first started going to the store.
It really was. We got lucky on one of the later runs. I physically have not been in a grocery store in 2 weeks, so I don't know what's out there. I just kind of postponed biscuit making until then. But one of the things that I did see that would be an acceptable substitute, one of the reasons you like buttermilk, or we like it, is because the acidity helps activate the leavening, the chemical leavening in baking soda. If you wanted to find a substitute, if it was most places outside of a metro area won't have this, but this almost worked for me in a pinch. Goat's milk.
Oh, interesting. What are there any other types of milk, like, that would be good for that, other than buttermilk?
I'm sure you could probably do something like milk plus Greek yogurt or milk plus sour cream and blend it up and have some kind of Franken buttermilk.
But it's easier to just use
Yeah,
buttermilk.
because you want the fat as well, like full fat buttermilk. Don't go getting the fat free stuff.
That's right. These are biscuits we're making. We're not trying to lose weight.
So I don't know if you can kind of see my hand technique. I'm going from the bottom and moving up here because I really don't want to overwork this, nor do I want to have my hand in here so much that it starts to melt the fat.
But you also don't want to miss out on all the dry stuff.
No. So it's there's more than meets the eye here. And I can always bring it together once it's on my cutting board too.
Yeah, I find that that happens as well with scones. When you're making scones from scratch, you have to be careful about not over mixing.
Yeah.
But also get all the dry stuff in. Little fun fact.
Yeah. You are the queen of the scones and
Yes.
all things afternoon tea.
I try. Constantly trying new places.
Where's your favorite tea place you've been in the world?
Oh, that's so hard to say. I was excited about the one we were going to in Morocco. That was going to be the Hotel Mansour, but I would say the Savoy in London was pretty spectacular. And also there's a hotel in Victoria, the Empress. That was pretty spectacular too.
Yes.
And we have been to some amazing ones though, you and I.
We have. So from here, I've saved a little bit. I was scared I was going to run out of flour. I'm going to salt that away here. So this is just a little bit of we call bench flour.
Why is it called bench flour?
Because the word for your workstation, a wooden workstation, a lot of times is your table, your bench. So just for dusting. So I'm going very, as you can see, very light dusting. I may even rub it in because I don't want to work more flour into this dough.
Since you're doing self-rising flour, does it matter what kind of flour you have on your bench?
I'm also using self-rising.
Okay, well, good to know.
Great question. So we're gonna lightly floured my rolling pin. I'm a huge fan of the French style rolling pin.
Which is the skinny one.
Yeah, to me that's the only one to really use. If you want to see something funny, find on YouTube. There's a video of Julia Child just shitting on one of the American styles with the handles on the end. It's like, it's a toy. Throws it on the ground.
We got some friends in the house.
Who we got?
We got Krista Miller.
Hey, Krista.
And Melanie is back. Lisa Mullins and Danielle Amond is watching, and also Brad Miserini. He said he's always looking for new biscuit recipes, so he's a very lucky man.
So this is like I said, when I kind of got into this doing biscuit taste testing or recipe testing when I was the recipe editor for Southern Kitchen, and we wanted to, biscuits were, when you deal in food journalism, you want to find things that people are searching for, that they're interested in, and try and satisfy that need. So the biscuits were a big part of that, since we're a Southern online magazine. And so and you remember this, Wendy, we did all in a row. We did cream-based biscuits, we did beer biscuits, we did buttermilk versus other liquids, we did lard versus butter, a bunch of different things. We did a facsimile, this is awful, of the Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Oh, yeah.
Which I had not been to. This was 2018 we did this. I hadn't been to a Red Lobster since 2002, but we went and did one.
And it was tragic.
Brutal. So I'm going to do kind of an envelope fold here. I'm going to kind of fold 1/3 of it over here. Bring the other third together.
You used this with the brioche that we made too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we did some brioche bread. I've done it a couple times actually. Like this because I don't want this sticking. And I need to find my bench scraper is somewhere.
Oh, it's over here. I thought. Well,
Did I move? I can just do it without.
it's somewhere around here.
It's somewhere.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah, I was working with it earlier. A little plastic bench scraper is helpful, but we'll kind of go with that. But anyway, so I'm just kind of rolling this into a rectangle. What I'm doing here, you can use your hands too, if you don't want to really overwork it. I am trying to flatten this out to about 3/4 of an inch. But the folds is going to help create layers. When you're working with biscuits, you can kind of have the flaky versus the tender. I like a combination of both. I find that if it's too flaky, then it's going to be a little tough for me. If it's too tender, it's not as versatile. Like you can't really make a biscuit sandwich out of something that doesn't have some kind of structure to it. So this is just going to give us some extra options. So
Fold it again.
Fold it towards me here.
Another envelope. Number
And
2.
back over. That's our next layer.
Flipper.
Bring it together. I'm just going to use the flour that's on my board right now.
So you don't have to add more.
Yeah.
Tim Meredith is joined.
Hey, Tim. Oh, his wife Haley is a pastry chef and a half. She's incredible.
Cool.
Some of the cakes that I've seen her do are amazing.
He's very lucky to have her at home then.
That's right.
Just like I'm lucky to have you.
Oh,
I'll gain 1,000,000 pounds, but I'm very lucky to have you.
that's all right. That's all right. We can reinvent the concept of vanity, one biscuit at a time.
There you go.
So that's down. Let me grab my other little secret here. You could, or my preferred method, you could take a biscuit cutter, or some people use a glass. I've found that the more you kind of punch down those layers, you toughen the biscuit, you inhibit its rise, and you end up with some scraps that you have to overwork. I found that if I use a knife and I cut them into squares instead, I'm going to have no waste, and I'm going to have better biscuits because of it. So let's see, how many do we want to do out of these? Let's cut these into, let's do these, see if we can get these into 12.
Square biscuits.
Yeah, why not?
So does it really, because I know we do have biscuit cutters or cookie cutters that are circular. So is it really going to damage them or make that huge of a difference?
Yeah, because so what you would have to do would be you would have a little bit of excess bench flour. You kind of dip it to, get a little more friction going on, and you just punch. You don't mash or twist, like poke, pull out. But I kind of like it better this way.
Cool.
So just go to a sheet pan. The good thing too here is, depending on how people like their style of biscuits, this is just personal. I like inconsistency in this instance. So having some that might get a little crispier, some that might be a little more tender, gives, depending on what people like out of their biscuits.
You know what I also hear?
What's that?
It's hip to be square.
Oh!
Little Huey Lewis in the news for you. And everywhere.
Can't think of that without immediately thinking, hey, Paul! So, I'm going to set these in front.
Yes.
Here.
All right, let's take a look at
wash
these.
my hands.
They look pretty darn good. I think the folding is definitely, that's something new that I haven't learned before, is the double envelope. And then Jose Munoz says hello.
Oh, hello.
Kari Lloyd says,
Jenny.
Mo better biscuits.
We're fans of the biscuits around here for sure. We don't make them that often.
I made them when we first started going out and made strawberry shortcake.
That's right. Yeah, that strawberry shortcake, for the record, is my favorite dessert on the planet, and having it with biscuits in particular is the way to go.
Versus pound cake.
Although I will not kick pound cake out of bed if offered.
Very nice.
Just throwing that out there. So, cool thing about the bench scrapers, it also helps clean the board, because we're going to use this as another workstation. So you could even put these in the fridge. You could stick these in the freezer for a second. The cold, another reason why we like cold is it's going to help create more steam, and steam is going to be even more leavening.
What you got there? What are you putting on?
Melted butter.
Now, what kind of butter?
So we had a pound of salted butter in there. So this is salted butter, just for that extra little salt on the exterior.
What if we had like that fancy Irish butter, the Kerrygold? Would that be good for this, or probably not? Probably good to serve it when it.
No, that'd be good in the dough. Absolutely. So I'm going to stick this back over here because we're going to brush them again when they come out of the oven.
Yum, yum.
And so,
into the oven.
425 degrees. I'm going to check them after 15 just because of the size and see how they're working. So another mistake a lot of people make is not cooking their biscuits at high enough of a temperature. Mm-hmm. Because, again, heating something quickly is going to cause more steam, lift, rise, good.
Very cool.
So
what's up next?
Next up, this is
a twofer.
A twofer. So we're gonna kind of get a couple of things out of this. So to me, one of the immortal basics of kitchen work is how to break down a chicken. If you want to make fried chicken at home, and a lot of people do, we're gonna do something that's kind of akin to like an indoor barbecue chicken, but that's off camera just for us later. And I have plans for tomorrow as well that will kind of incorporate the biscuits, but
bum, bum, bum.
foreshadowing. And so this is also going to tie into, because there are only going to be so many usable pieces of this whole bird that we have in front of us. And if you ever watch videos where people are talking about breaking down chickens, they'll say, take this and save it for the stock pot. Well, here's our stock pot. So we're going to get a chicken stock of some sort going for us as well. So this is a whole bird that has been rinsed and patted dry. I also like it dry because it's not going to slide around on the cutting board. So this is you can see this knife has been used a lot.
That's an experienced knife.
Yeah, so it's been used and sharpened a whole lot. This is probably twice its size.
What type of knife is it?
This is a boning knife. So you want something kind of flexible to be able to go around joints and such. You could use something bigger with a little more heft if you didn't care about a certain part of this. If you were just going for speed or production, that's okay too, but I'll show you what we want out of this. So I'm going to make 2 incisions on either side, right where the legs kind of attach to the hips and the main part of the body. So get a little deeper here. And I'll show you what I'm looking for. We're going to flip it over here. I'm going to put my fingers right on the hip joints here and just pop them out.
Ow!
I know.
Poor chicken.
I know. So what I'm going to do, you could cut, bottom up. There are other methods. This is just the one that I use. There is a little nugget of meat right about here called the oyster, and we want to keep that. And so that's another benefit of the boning knife, is being able to work around the oyster.
More precise.
More precise, that's correct. Because that is a very tender piece.
What is an oyster?
It's like where the thigh and the hip meet, but it's incredibly tender. There are only 2 per bird, and they are worth saving, preserving, all that stuff. So just finding that, working around.
Krista says the chef gets the oyster.
The chef gets, yes, that's one of the prize cuts. And so just looking for the little joint here. When you see white, that's that ball and socket joint that we're wanting to cut through.
There it is.
You shouldn't be cutting through bone. We're looking for white, kind of soft joints to go through.
Okay, so no chopping.
No, and you can kind of wiggle it to dislodge it and pop it out. If you need to make some shallow strokes with your knife to just further expose it, that's okay. But we're looking to keep as much meat on this as possible.
So there's that little bowl.
So I'm going to go ahead and get these legs. If we want to do, you could save these as leg quarters if you wanted to. I'm going to separate the drumstick from the thigh, and again, you can just kind of feel where the ridge is in there. You can see where I just made that incision right in there. I got a good clean white cut. There's no, I'm not seeing the red from
There's the drumstick.
any bone. So that's the drumstick, that's the thigh. We'll do this one more time.
See it one more time, close up.
So feel the ridge, expose it. Let's go right through. So I got 2 thighs and 2 drumsticks.
And your mom would not eat the thigh.
Well, so growing up as my mom did, said that she, when they would cook a chicken, my grandparents would cook a chicken, everyone had their assigned part. Of course, the adults had the breasts. My mom was the thigh, and now that my mom is all grown up, she's like, I'm not eating chicken thighs anymore. So you've got now we're down to wings and the breasts. So I'm going to make a cut right down the center here. And you're going to see
It's like Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, exactly. So this is now produced by Shonda Rhimes. So you're going to feel there's what's called the keel bone here. It resembles, it's kind of shaped like the keel on a ship. And so I'm going to do some long, shallow strokes. Just peel the meat off of the carcass. And again, we're going to go all the way up. You can feel there's the wishbone that starts right up here. But looking to expose the next joint. You go down even further. And there we are, right down there.
Bridget Calloway says, just don't get your finger.
That's right. Don't get the finger. So, we've got the full joint here. What we could do is we could do the breadth. You got options here. That's what I'm trying to say. You got options. If you wanted to leave the whole wing, you could cut it off at this joint. If you wanted to kind of do what we call an airline breast, where the first drumhead attached, you could cut through this joint. If you just wanted the wing tip, you could go here. I'm going to keep the breast actually without the first joint.
So chicken wing, full chicken
Yeah,
wing.
and there's also, meat's got a lot of kind of cut me on the dotted lines thing. That's the tenderloin, which we will put in there.
That's right.
We'll put our breast in here, and I am going to take the wing. If you were inclined, if you're doing a lot of these and you wanted to eat chicken wings, you could do that. But we have very limited poultry resources to make chicken stock.
Right.
So wings, especially the tips, save these things. There's a lot of collagen, which then turns into gelatin, which gives stock that good body. The wings have a lot.
Yeah, that goes in the pot.
That goes in the pot. It's a lot of people go, ew, and I'm about to say this, the feet. If you can find chicken feet, they make an excellent stock. Chicken necks.
Sure, we could find those on Buford Highway.
We could, yeah.
Or maybe Nam de Moon.
Yeah, we could definitely. Just trying to minimize our trips out these days.
So when this is all over, if you want to get very flavorful broths, get some chicken feet.
Yes.
Because normally chicken feet don't come with your Publix chicken.
No. The necks also good.
All right, so we're just cutting the breast again, right?
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing.
Trying to expose that joint here so I can make a good clean cut. And main thing is our carcass. If you wanted to break it up, you could. I will finish doing the wing here just as we were going to have our chicken. Again, up to you whether or not you wanted to leave the drumette attached. Good clean cut right there. And again, you can, if you're not used to poultry anatomy, you can just kind of use your fingers to push down on where the joint is to where you can have a good clean cut from there. Remove our chicken tender. That goes in the bowl. Our breast goes in the bowl. If you wanted to kind of just break it once, you could do this multiple times if you want to, but this kind of helps, especially with the spine. There's a lot of collagen in there. So that goes in.
I think we lost our vegetarian viewers.
Let me wash my hands just before I handle other things.
Yeah. If you're vegetarian, just tune back in later to see the biscuits.
That's right. Trying to kind of bide our time in between doing all of that. But
So what are you guys making tonight? Let us know what you're cooking, or have you tried one of Jeffrey's recipes, and how did it turn out?
I've been so excited to see. A lot of people have been very kind with the comments of things they've made at home. I think my friend Sarah made the chicken cacciatore. Said she did a good job with it, so thank you for that. Friend Stacy did cold peanut noodles. I think that one's been a pretty popular and easy one. The lentil chili. So keep them going and send us pictures too. So now we're going to talk about flavoring in this.
So what do we got here?
This is a pretty basic version, especially given what we had in our quarantine fridge.
That's right. So what do we got?
We kind of made the most of it. So kind of the classic mirepoix. We've got onions, celery. We didn't have any other real. This is just the shitty shredded carrots that we had for some of our other dishes that we were doing. The celery came, and I gotta say, I'm hoping some of the other stuff is different. Kind of disappointed in the first Misfit Markets box.
Yeah, well, we did just get off the waiting list for Fresh Harvest Georgia, so maybe we'll try that one next.
Good. Yeah, I think
we'll give them one more try.
That's right. Yeah, most of our offerings we had a couple flavorless apples, some lemons that were had a lot of age on them.
Yeah.
And really the mirepoix, so not a lot of good fresh stuff. So
what about that random mango?
Yeah, a random mango.
Unripe mango.
So we'll see what that's like in a little while. So our mirepoix goes in. If you have any fresh herbs, usually a couple of the Simon and Garfunkel herbs, rosemary is fine, thyme is good, parsley stems would be good. We don't have any of those. So we do have a couple of dried bay leaves, so I'm just doubling up on those. We have some garlic cloves, just smashed whole cloves. Those go in. Some peppercorns. If you wanted to do the Frenchy French thing and do the sachet or the bouquet garni, as they call it, you could. We don't have any cheesecloth.
Yep.
So here are the next kind of fun parts of the method. So this is in our pot. We're going to cover it with cold water. And
welcome to Carrie McPhail and Lee Farr.
Hey guys, nice to have you with us. A little extra Millsaps love. So we're looking just to cover everything because we only have one chicken. We're going to end up probably reducing this down a little ways too, just to concentrate what we have going on. So the classical French method for a stock would say put this on the stove and put it at what we call a lazy bubble. So just where bubbles are barely breaking the surface about every 5 seconds or so. Just bloop, wait, bloop, to kind of slowly coax some of that collagen out. One of the main reasons they look to do it that way is for clarity. If you were to cook this too quickly, all the collagen would just expel into your stock and it would make it cloudy. We're not making anything like a jus or a consommé or anything where clarity's involved. We're going to make, I'll go ahead and spoil it, chicken pot pie.
Woo! Yay!
Tomorrow. Or Thursday, I hadn't decided which, probably tomorrow.
Yep.
And so I'm thickening it with the sauce. We're going to add dairy to it. We're going to make the veloute, as it were. So I'm not really worried about this. This is a little more of an Asian method that you'll see, is to just put everything in a pot and boil the hell out of it very quickly and expel it. So we're going to use the pressure cooker function out of the Instant Pot.
Yay! Instant Pot. I used it this morning for oatmeal. Very delicious oatmeal. There's a little reminder of here's the chicken all broken down like you'd see it in a Publix wrapper. Oh, there's that wonderful noise.
And I'll just use the manual function and just let it go at high pressure. Probably, so really want to let this go and try and coax as much flavor out of it as possible. So that's going to go at 45 minutes. I'm going to turn the light on, see how our rise is coming. They're looking nice. Yeah, we're
what
ready.
What do you like to put on your biscuit?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
I'm talking to you. You're the only one here.
That's right. So I am a fan of...
Ooh, those smell so good.
Let's see, yeah, nice and soft and tender. I'm going to brush them. You can see the browning around the bottom. One more time with melted butter.
Yeah, these are super healthy.
Wait, what?
Super healthy.
Oh, what? My partial. Anybody who's watching this from Natchez will immediately appreciate this. To me, the greatest biscuits on earth were at the Carriage House, which were so small they were kind of the silver dollar, and you could almost eat them like vitamins. So I think they would have them with, I believe, it's been 20 years since I've been there, but grape jelly, I think. On there, so just biscuits, jelly, jam, anything like that is my jam.
Oop, John Parkhill is back for more, just in time for hot biscuits. Enjoy, John. A little biscuit porn for you.
So that's it. We got our stock going. We got our chicken ready to be cooked at our leisure, and hot biscuits ready. And that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining us. Again, as Wendy said, please send us any pictures or any fun stuff that you guys are cooking.
Or requests.
Yeah, or
we take requests.
Well, exactly. So we'll do what we can here using what we have, and we're going to keep this going for a good while. So thank you, and until tomorrow, stay safe, stay indoors, and wash your hands. See you guys.